I think the coverage of this next story has been a little off and on, just depending over the months. It goes back a ways now. The entire gender identity policy flap in the community of Williamston Community Schools. The board there, they went forward. They had a lot of meetings. It got testy. And then afterwards, some parents said, look, we think they didn't handle this the right way. We want to recall 4 members of the school board in Williamston. And we had at last report, they were getting the green light after some legal challenges to go ahead with that recall effort with the Ingham County Elections Commission. Lori Janacek was on our show. I want to hear the other side here, too, with Greg Talberg today, who, of course, is one of the school board members who's being targeted. He's also a teacher, although not in that district. He's on the other end of our line right now. Greg, good morning.
Morning, Dave.
How are you? Welcome back.
I'm well, thank you.
Okay. Without the preamble, we already set that aside. This has gone on for quite a while now. How many months since you first rolled out the policy here and opened up public comment on that with Williamston Community Schools and the board?
The policy was first considered in committee quite a while ago. It was first disclosed to the entire board and community in September. We had a couple meetings between September and when it was voted on in early November of last year.
Okay. The part here, it says the district will customize support to allow each student's equal access to the district's educational programs and activities. But I note there that it doesn't say facilities. Is facilities assumed there? Because that's part of what has people in a row. It's about the bathrooms, locker rooms for athletics.
Yes.
So does that become a gray area, or because it's not spelled out? Was that part of you tell me.
Well, it's in some ways it's a gray area because it's gray nationally. Our president doesn't necessarily agree with the Secretary of Education or a Department of Justice. We have state level laws or absence of laws. We have district level court decisions. So there's a lot of cloudiness. I guess the problem with that is if we have a student identify as transgender in Williamston Community Schools, despite all that cloudiness, that student deserves a response from our district that's thoughtful and consistent, and our staff deserves a response from the board that will enable them to respond thoughtfully and consistently. So more directly to your question, that wording allows us to be flexible. So as, in our 9260 policy, we talk about the board directs administration to assess ways to increase privacy for all students. We will work with the student to find an alternative that takes into account the privacy rights of all students. So the fact that our facilities, because we have older buildings in most cases, are not very conducive to easily accommodating requests for restrooms and locker rooms. So that enables us to do our best to support the needs of kids and their families and also make sure all students have rights to privacy and equal education.
Okay. Greg Talberg with the Williamston School Board here, one of the 4 school board members who's being targeted for recall and has decided, along with the others, not to appeal and to take the legal fight on having that go forward with a signature drive and perhaps a special election. Will continue out there, and the story will be ongoing. I think you also teach in Howell. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. Yep.
Okay. Where this has also gone forward. Was that contentious there, too, to some extent, or was it fairly smooth? This started in Howell before Williamston.
Yeah, it's popped up in various places. I don't actually know the details on Howell that intimately.
Okay.
I think a student asked for an accommodation, and it created some confusion, in my view, in part because there isn't a policy in Howell to help them guide through that process. And I think it was resolved in a way that both the family of that student and the district is comfortable with. So I don't know the details about all that while it was in a different building.
Well, Greg, I appreciate you coming on today. We've heard about it. Obviously, like you said, the word is contentious, and it has been. And we'll see how things play out. We'll keep following it from this end. Thanks for being here today very much.
Thanks a lot. Anytime.
Yep, Greg Talberg on the school board there.